Since the start of spring, I have been running around to yard sales, thrift stores, all over the place, finding old retro stuff. It's fun, you can buy everything online nowadays, but sometimes the hunt is more fun. Over the weekend I did the local citywide yard sale here. I've been in Nashville and just local thrift stores and yard sales. Besides that, a few weeks ago, went to Nashville, which you've probably seen as an episode of Adventures of a Retro Nerd, or if this is the first video of mine you've seen, check that out right there. But I love the Atari 2600, the first majorly popular at-home gaming console. And Howard Scott Warshaw, however his last name is pronounced, is credited as bringing down the video game company, the video game industry. And he created Yar's Revenge, which is one of the most acclaimed games on the Atari, which, when I got my Atari 2600, it was included with it. But I've been on the hunt for his other two notorious games, and I picked them up at a store in Nashville. Forgot what the store is called. I can have it pop up. But I got his Raiders of the Lost Ark game. That's his first Steven Spielberg tie-in game. But he also made the game, credited for bringing down the video game industry, and that is the notoriously most hated game of all time, E.T. So I got those, which finishes my Howard Scott Warshaw, what the fuck his name is, Atari 2600 collection. So, yeah, started with Yar's Revenge, one of the most acclaimed games of all time, ending with E.T., the most unfairly hated game of all time. Also at this store, I got the Atari 2600 version of Q*bert. Parker Brothers, I've been told that their labels are notorious for falling off. It's kind of falling off, but still there, even though it looks like shit. So, yep, Q*bert 2600. Can't stand it like this, so the label's upside down. So over yard selling over the weekend, I got this jet. This jet is from the Justice League cartoon in the same universe as Superman and Batman animated series. I actually have just started watching that cartoon for the first time. Didn't really watch it as a kid, weirdly, even though I absolutely love that show. It pops apart into two separate vehicles. This one lights up when there's batteries in it. Cockpit opens. Can store two characters, even though in the cartoon this is big enough to hold all of them. Just sit that right there. At our local Goodwill, picked up the early 1991 Game of Life. Why did I pick up Life? Well, I'm going to be doing a series, scripted series where we play board games. And I needed a Life that could be played. That wasn't my really early never played Life I picked up at a yard sale a few years ago. This was complete. It was $1. Had to get it. It was probably the exact same one I used to play at my grandma's house. Not the exact same one, but the exact same, release. So, that's Life. Picked up some kids' books at different yard sales and different things. Picked up a very young kid's Mighty Morphin Power Ranger book. I don't really collect Mighty Morphin Power Ranger stuff. I'm not really huge on it. I used to love it as a kid. I used to watch all the time. But if I find Power Ranger stuff cheap, I'll pick it up. So I got this kid's book. I got this older elementary school age kids book. It's Morphin Time. The cover is so bad on this. It's like they had no idea what they were even doing. Could have made that in paint. And this has that horrible art that kids books have. Picked up a couple of Carmen Sandiego books. Where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego, and Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego Part 2. And from what these seem like, is they're a Carmen Sandiego game in book form. I used to watch the cartoon and the game show. This started as a video game to teach kids stuff, and has that catchy theme song, which I'm not going to play for copyright reasons. At a local thrift store, I picked up a Goosebumps book. Very first Goosebumps book. Trying to get more of these. Plan on doing a video on Goosebumps in October. Picked up one of the Give Yourself Goosebumps, number 7, Under the Magician's Spell. Used to actually read this one as a kid. Love to Give Yourself Goosebumps. So, I also picked up Ghostbusters soundtrack on cassette. The same day I picked up, I think, the first Goosebumps book. First cassette tape I have in a red case. Kind of cool. It's Ghostbusters. Nobody listens to cassettes anymore, but it's Ghostbusters. And if you're going to listen to Ghostbusters soundtrack, eat some Ghostbusters branded campfire marshmallows. Got these at Big Lots. Yeah, not really a find, but I mean, Slimer and Stay Puft shaped marshmallows. Woo! I've been going around picking up VHS tapes. I've got, at a Goodwill in Nards over, the Holiday Special Power Rangers tape. Because Power Rangers. I got RoboCop 3 to get the complete RoboCop collection on VHS. Because I love me some RoboCop. Got a tape of James Bond Jr., obscure early 90s cartoon nobody really remembers. This is episode 3, Red Star 1. Yeah, I really don't know what the premise is, but had a toy line. That's what I know it from. Got one of the Captain Power toy tapes. The way these work is if you have an old CRT TV, the toys had light guns in them, and it was actually a game you could play with this, and the live-action TV show did the same thing. I have none of the toys. I found this at a local thrift store. Had to get it. Speaking of toy VHSs, also picked up episode or volume 2 of Dino Riders, which was a Tyco who was known for their RC toys action figure line. Had awesome dinosaurs that were reused later for accurate science toys. The modes were, so that's cool. So let's stack all these tapes up out of the way. There's still more tapes. Well, everybody loves some bad Chuck Norris movies, right? And Missing in Action, Canon Film, original huge cardboard box release. It was 50 cents. Why not? I don't really like Chuck Norris, but I'm not gonna say no to getting some Canon movies. And then I got the sequel, Missing in Action 2. Ooh, yeah! Horrible movies. Canon. Canon made a bunch of crap. Probably the most famous bad film, notorious bad film company of all time, Canon. Great documentary on them that's currently on Netflix. You should totally watch it. Got an episode or 2 of The Real Ghostbusters on this cassette. I don't know what volume this is. It doesn't say the volume, but it's definitely not from the first season. You get Slimer as a Ghostbuster on the back, so yeah, Ghostbusters! Can't have enough Ghostbusters. You can never have enough Ghostbusters. Well, excuse me, princess! First episode of the terrible Legend of Zelda cartoon on VHS. It's in a gold case that's not really shiny or reflective. But yeah, this is so terrible that it's good. It's like if someone tried to make a John Hughes Legend of Zelda cartoon. Best description ever. Got an episode, or 2 episodes of the Wolf Films Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, the original 1980s one. This is Attack of the Big Mac. That's not play out words on, like McDonald's. We'll get these out of the way. Also got a couple of the old, if you grew up in the 90s, you probably had friends who had some of these, or you had some of these yourself. Good Times, who would release public domain videos. They also made a couple of their own kids' movies. Well, they made this Aladdin one. because of the Disney one being popular. I have not seen any footage of this one, or if I have, I blocked it from my memory. Internet tier video maker F.H.E, who used to be part of Channel Awesome, does reviews of these, and they're hilarious. And that's what got me into wanting to collect them, because I had seen some of these as a kid, blocked them from my mind. They only had one theatrical release, which had stars such as Whoopi Goldberg and John Goodman in it. It used a Paul McCartney song, and that was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This one's still factory sealed. Yeah, it's a bad movie. Yeah, I collect those really bad VHS tapes sometimes. Sometimes it's just fun to have them. The best VHSs I picked up at the citywide yard sale. Before Filmation hit it off with He-Man around the same time, and when F.H.E and their big box releases, I got Black Star Volume 2 and Volume 3. They're missing the cardboard inserts that the VHS tapes would actually sit in, so the tapes are just rattling around in here, but they have their boxes, and these are actually kind of sought after by a lot of people. I have never seen an episode of Black Star. The toy line is awesome. I have another toy line. They're very expensive. The castle that they had for the toy line is notorious to break. Look, nothing it did in the cartoon. But Filmation, I love Filmation. Black Star. It'd been cool if they had Volume 1, so I got Volume 1 through 3. I don't know how many volumes there actually was. I picked up some books. I'm a huge Garfield fan, and I have a few of the old original Garfield release books. This is Garfield and His 9 Lives, 1984 book. It's not a collection of comic strips like most Garfield releases are. It was actually something Jim Davis made as a special book. It's more like a graphic novel or art book size, so I don't know what exactly it falls under an art book or not. Haven't read it yet. I got it for like $1. I love Garfield. I never pass up on Garfield stuff. Now, I'm a nerd, so I do play Dungeons & Dragons, but I don't collect Dungeons & Dragons memorabilia. But when I had the option, the chance to get Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition book really cheap. Yeah, Dungeons & Dragons really cheap. Couldn't pass it up. It came with a priest screen. I have no idea what that is. I've never played 2nd edition, but I'm not going to pass up D&D books. I mean, it's $3 for the book. I don't think that's bad. If it's not obvious that I have action figures, I collect action figures, and I picked up a few. Okay, battery's still. I hope this doesn't die. Battery's really low. I haven't charged the camera since filming. I picked up one of the morphing turtles at the citywide yard sale, and it's one of those ones that's supposed to morph into a pet turtle. The rubber legs to make him into a pet turtle is missing. It's Mikey, but what's normally missing off these guys we find at yard sales or thrift stores is the side flaps that make their sides right here, right there, and those weren't missing. And yeah, I can't display him as a pet turtle, but at least if I find one in the future, it was worth picking up just because he had the often missing flaps, had no weapons or anything. So, another turtle I picked up was when they did all the obscure variations. They did a Western series, and I got this because it was half a quarter. It's what I call the Cowboy Curtis Donatello. This is supposed to be a serious cowboy, but just stick him in Pee-wee's Playhouse. He'd make perfect sense. Well, howdy there, Pee-wee. At a yard sale in Nashville, somebody had Scully from the X-Files. Sadly, no motor. I think I got it for like $0.25. I'm not going to pass up on a Scully figure. Maybe she's investigating why there's giant mutant turtles running around New York. Also got one of the Planeteers from Captain Planet. These are made by Tiger, who did the Tiger Electronic games that nobody likes. I love them, though. Red ink is all over this guy, hoping to get him cleaned up. Captain Planet. I think he's supposed to spark. Yeah, he's supposed to spark, that doesn't work anymore. Or light up, whatever he's supposed to do. So, just stand. Got 2 more figures left and have to do with this. At a random yard sale, had a bunch of junk and a couple of naked Barbies. There was a bag with a couple action figures in it. From James Bond Jr. None of them was James Bond Jr., but it was a couple of the bad guys. And I'm going to show you the first guy, this guy first. He is a neon biker gang, pirate biker gang figure. He has a sword that actually does attach to his hip. You can pull the sword off, hopefully without breaking it. And it's supposed to go in his hand, but his hand is like locked solid. And he has a feature a lot of 90s toys had. Pull back on the string in his arm, he fires his hook. I don't know how this guy even would be considered a James Bond villain. This is a James Bond Jr. villain. I think he'd stick out in a crowd, can't really be a good supervillain. Jaws, who is one of the most famous and favorite James Bond villains from one of the old movies, get a early 90s redone as like a street gangster with like Nikes on his feet, clomping action, his jaws open and close, and he becomes a lead pipe he can beat James Bond Jr. with. Yeah, toys promoting violence. Best thing ever. Well, there's nothing extremely cool in this pile. I don't think there's anything really like that great of a find, but when you're on the mission to find and save retro crap, and you're planning on doing a lot of videos on the in-depth history of obscure retro stuff, if you find stuff cheap, you pick it up. Some of these VHS tapes, it's just cool having the history of how these things were originally released. But these are my pickups of the year starting in spring so far. There's probably a few things that I picked up that I don't have here. Picked up a Namco plug-and-play, but that's not really retro, so I didn't include it. Got a Battleship LCD game, that's from like 2002, so I didn't include that either. But yeah, you can get all this stuff online. Yard sale shopping, the hunt is really fun. It's a fun thing to do. Even if you don't collect stuff like this, yard sales have everything, and mostly just clothes nowadays. It's not fun. If you're looking for retro stuff, thrift stores are getting harder and harder ever since toys have been illegal to sell there. But yeah, that's my pickup. I may do videos on some of the stuff in the future, or get more to the stuff, do videos on. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe for more of my future content, and until next time.